staying with the whole Fox drama regarding Disney, also they're apparently struggling to figure out how to fit Deadpool into its PG-13 MCU.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
According to the Variety, the company is trying to find ways to basically seamlessly weave this character into the Avengers type crossover type PG-13 movie we're accustomed to seeing from the MCU, while also then giving him these rated R type adventures that we're also accustomed to seeing from him in particular. So like those are so Disney, they made this big acquisition with Fox. We knew it would come with complications. I don't know. I think they're making this a lot harder than it has to be. I don't think that there's much of an issue of using Deadpool in other properties and then having him be rated R. I say that because I read comics and they do it all the time.
Right.
So it's not that difficult. I don't know why they seem to think that this is going to be
and Deadpool's
so hard.
he's already been so popular as a rated R character that like I don't think it's confusing. It was confusing for the first one for some people, but like I don't think if you put him in Avengers. Also, I worry the Christmas Deadpool movie didn't do good.
Yeah, can we talk about that though? Like, does anyone want to see him in Avengers? I feel like there's something people keep talking about. I don't want to see him in Avengers.
Meaning,
I'm a diehard Deadpool fan. Why would he fit in an Avengers movie?
Like,
how would he fit?
Do I want him to be a main character? Like, if let's say they put Deadpool in Infinity War. Would that be a problem? If there's a lot of heroes,
that's an Infinity War.
If we're saying
level
like
event.
if we're saying
level event, that's different.
If we're saying the original Avengers movie, he's like part of the 5 or 6. No, I don't want to see that.
I wouldn't want to see him in the Age of Ultron. I don't want to.
Right.
Like, to me, Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War are almost not even Avenger movies. Those are like just almost like Marvel event movies.
Yeah,
MCU event.
So like, Deadpool appears in those comic books.
Right, and that's more how I mean.
Fine, and. Of course he can be in those movies. And, like, yeah, you could write him where he's not, like, decapitating people. It's not that hard.
Right.
Like...
But
we're talking about saying, I want to put him in an Avengers movie. I'm like, why would I want to see him in an Avengers movie?
I guess the thing
no one wants to see that.
Deadpool can be in any movie because he's such a ridiculous character. You could.
That's kind of why I don't want to see him in an Avengers movie because, like, to me, the Avengers movies have a certain tone to them, and he would throw everything completely off.
And maybe that is intriguing to them. Now, what I will say is, what I don't want to see too much of is Deadpool hijacking another movie.
Which is, I don't know how he does it. How does he not? He's Deadpool. He's such like
he's
such an alpha. He's in the room and like you can't keep your eyes off.
The ideal usage for Deadpool would be, if he's not a main character, if it's not his own movie, is like the Wolverine versus X-Men, Wolverine versus Hulk movie, or Hulk versus Wolverine, where like he's an incredible character in that movie. It's extremely funny, but like the movie had nothing. It's not a Deadpool movie.
To clarify for anyone that hasn't seen it, the animated movie.
Yes, the animated movie.
Or what movie is it?
Wolverine versus Hulk. Why wouldn't I miss that? Or dare I say, Wolverine Origins.
Yeah,
I would argue that is also like the idea of putting him in that movie and how they introduced him was perfect.
Yeah, solid.
It just all went downhill once they did the time jump. Everything went to hell. But like that kind of insertion, 1000% is okay. This idea we're gonna put him in a mainstream movie with other big heroes just to cross him over and make him a character that is throughout the entire movie. To me, like the Avengers movies have certain beats that don't make sense. Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Spider-Man. I don't see where he.
Black Panther is the one that he can't be in.
I don't see where he fits in any of these movies.
Or Captain Marvel.
But now I agree. I agree with you.
Right.
I 1000% agree with you. The only place that I would say I see where these other people were coming from was because I feel like the prime example for their argument is Deadpool 2. I really liked his chemistry with Cable, with Domino, even with Juggernaut, with the Kid. There's so many other characters that I think share screen time. Cable almost just as much as Deadpool is in that movie. And they're like a duo in that movie, and it works. Deadpool takes up a lot of space, obviously, a lot of lines, but that chemistry worked for me. I thought it worked for a lot of people.
Is it a guarantee that Reynolds is coming back?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a guarantee.
So really, I don't feel nearly as confident as I did
a
month ago.
I don't think they can. I don't think they can bring in another Deadpool and people accept them.
They lose a lot of money.
I think they can do it without
They
Reynolds.
would lose a lot of
I
money.
don't think so.
They would just be like, all right, we're just gonna lose a lot of money, and we'll try to rebrand. You're trying to rebrand Deadpool.
I agree.
Deadpool.
I don't think there's any way that MCU Deadpool that is not Reynolds is as successful as Deadpool 1 or 2.
Yeah,
I would-
especially
I
not
would-
the
I would-
especially
I
not
would-
the first
and that's,
go around.
But that,
There's
and
no
that's
way.
saying a lot because remember,
The MCU
Marvel
brand.
movies just the brand alone just nets you a certain number in the box office.
Right.
So the fact that we're saying that they wouldn't beat Fox says that that's not a move that they should do. And I don't think that Marvel or Disney is in the business of not making money except for when they're sabotaging their own properties. And they wouldn't be sabotaging an MCU Deadpool. So I think that Ryan has to be Deadpool. The question I would have is there a chance that if they come to him and say, hey, you're Deadpool, but we want you to be PG-13, does he walk away from that? I think that's a more likely scenario than them saying we want to
Didn't Reynolds walk away from something recently, or has he threatened to walk away from something? I feel like I read something about him threatening to walk away from something.
He's a Hollywood actor. It wouldn't surprise me. If he did. I don't know what story or what movie that was.
Yeah, I don't know.
But he does.
I feel like that's something that he would do.
Remember, like, even though he doesn't get writing credit for Deadpool, like, I mean, he's almost like a writer for Deadpool. I mean, he's hand in hand with the creation and the presentation of what we've seen from the movie version of Deadpool. He's as intact with the character as any of these other superheroes. I would agree. Yes, he's basically a producer in these movies. So the idea that they would come in and say, hey, your vision that you have, we're going to just do whatever we want, but we want you to just remain the character. He takes pride in what he's done with Deadpool. He says that he basically campaigned for a decade to get the movie greenlit. After the debacle with Wolverine and all the issues he had personally in terms of his value in Hollywood just declining, just falling off a cliff.
Yeah.
Like, he put a lot of emotional and creative capital in that property. I don't think that he's going to just let anybody just say, hey, you can keep the mask and keep the katanas, but we're changing everything about what you did. I don't know if someone who put so much time and effort into that is going to be as receptive as we think. So that's the only way I see him not being Deadpool, is him saying, sorry, I'm not going to do that. You guys have your own PG Deadpool and pick someone else, but I'm not going to be that guy.
I mean, he played the rated R Deadpool. I was gonna say he has been a PG-13 Deadpool in that re-release or
the
whatever.
Christmas one that didn't do well. People didn't like it.
Didn't do well.
They were like, why do we have this? The worst version of the second movie, which worries me about a PG-13 Deadpool, because we've seen it. I haven't seen it, but the masses have seen it, and it is almost unanimously the worst version.
And I think the difference is, I think that you can make a fine, fun, very solid PG-13 Deadpool. I think the issue with doing it now is that we've seen a rated R Deadpool.
Right.
I think that if we never had a rated R Deadpool and we were only given a PG-13 Deadpool, I think they could have made a great PG-13 Deadpool. And that would have been like, oh, this is a really great movie. I loved it. I wish it was rated R, but it was enough violence. It was enough.
And that wasn't the conversation at the time.
But now that we've seen them go full tilt on what Deadpool really is, and we've seen them just with blood, gore, cursing, adult themes, they've gone all the way there with what Deadpool truly is. Now to say, okay, we're going to rein it back. Once people have been given it all, you can't take it back from them. They're not going to be receptive to it. And I'm sorry, we're in 2019. I don't even know if the year even matters. But the idea, you don't think kids are watching Deadpool? I think you're out of your mind. Kids are watching this stuff.
See, I don't know if it's about the kids.
I don't know if they're going to the movie theaters, but they're watching Deadpool.
But
you don't do the numbers he did, Disney brand, and kids aren't watching it.
But the Disney brand hasn't been what Deadpool is. And if they're gonna make Deadpool, if they're gonna have a Deadpool ride at Disneyland, if they're gonna have a Deadpool.
Why would you do that though?
Cartoon on Disney XD.
They're gonna have Mickey Mouse right on the front of the Deadpool toy box.
Exactly, you like
on the shelves.
Deadpool shoots guns and has katanas. I just don't understand this. Why would you make a Disney ride with Deadpool. Like Disney has this. To me, they have this ridiculous vision of him that doesn't make any sense.
It's because of what you said, though. Deadpool is a piggy bank in their eyes.
Yeah,
and so for them, if they can find an avenue to make Deadpool PG-13 and make him equally profitable, and make him have that same, because if you make him rated R, now you're cutting his potential in your other ventures, which you know how Disney likes to use, characters and their flagship labels in their other ventures.
And look, and another thing, we're gonna see Deadpool. First of all, I feel like these marketing people, they see Deadpool and they see Spider-Man. So that's one thing that I think they see when they see Deadpool now. They're like, oh, this guy looks like Spider-Man. His eyes kind of move like Spider-Man. Quick-witted like Spider-Man. They think they see Spider-Man. They were going to see Deadpool show up in these cartoons. They're going to try to put him in these animated shows.
Same.
They're going to try to kid him up. They're going to try to make him more palatable to all ages.
Look, and I hate to bring... We do this show, and unfortunately, the real world issues we deal with today don't really seep in very much because you a hero talk, superheroes is all fun. But I'm gonna keep it very 100 right now. We have a serious issue in this country with guns and people shooting people. I just don't know how Disney expects to make a character whose main weapon of choice are guns and assault weapons, and think that you're gonna find any way to make him kid friendly. I just think I like, and if you're not doing, and then his second favorite choice weapon are 2 katanas that he wields from his back. Like I don't like. Sometimes things are just what they are, and the idea that you're gonna be able to find a way to make it more kid friendly in this day and age, I just think that you're gonna be. It's gonna look crazy.
I mean, look,
they're gonna catch heat for it. Nobody you got kids getting murdered in malls and schools, and now you're trying to tell me this guy who shoots people in the face is good for kids?
I mean, nobody is saying that Deadpool is gonna have a show on Disney Junior. Nobody's saying he's gonna be, in the preschools, as a dress up character. Hey, Deadpool.
But Kendall, they're already
nobody's saying
that. But
he already is.
He
already is in the Halloween costume.
But there already are factions of people that are already coming for our video games. Those games are not rated E for everyone that they're talking about.
Right.
So the idea, just because he's not going to be super promoted to young kids, doesn't mean that they're not going to come after him. But I don't think that that's true either.
I guess my thing is that I'm not saying it could be a PG-13 movie, and if you Wolverine, in theory, shouldn't be a kid-friendly character. He really isn't, even in X-Men movies. But they can massage it in a way in which we can still have a Wolverine video game. You can still have Wolverine, an X-Men cartoon or Wolverine cartoon. But then we also have a rated R or a rated M video game where we also have, a rated R Wolverine movie. And then we'll make it PG-13, but, he does curse and, he does do things. They can massage it in a way in which he's still the character, but parents can still take kids to see it. And they can still put Wolverine on the Disney ride. And they can still put Wolverine, in the toy box. And still put him on the video game cover. But then he still is cursing and doing stuff in the movies. I don't know. That's what I think they're seeing him as that Wolverine type of character. Whether or not it works, it didn't work when they tried it with the Christmas special.
No.
So I have my doubts.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this podcast segment, be sure to check out all of our shows on the New Generation Podcast Network on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Stitcher.